All right. What is going on, everybody? So I want to. Today is the NBA playing tournament for the Western Conference, and tomorrow is going to be the playing tournament for the Eastern Conference. So while that is going to be going on, I decided I might as well do a video about something that we might be talking about, which is the championship. And I thought, might as well do something like what a championship would mean for each of the teams that are listed in the play-in and the playoffs. So I'm going to start off with the East. And I want to start off with the Atlanta Hawks. So now, before I start this, I just like to say that these are just all hypotheticals, like what a championship would mean for each team. Because a team in the play-in, even though they might not likely make the playoffs, you don't know what can happen. Anything can happen. Like look at last year, such as the 2023 Miami Heat. Even though they were in the play-in, they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. And had they won that finals, they would have been the first team made to have won a championship that was in the play-in. They're obviously the first team to make it to the NBA Finals that was a play-in team, and that was a team that was in the eighth that was the eighth seed. So with all that being said, let's start off. So for the first off, for the Atlanta Hawks, if they were somehow able to win a championship, it would be their second championship in franchise history, with their first going back to 1958. And if Trae Young wins Finals MVP, that will boost his legacy all time. As for the Chicago Bulls, if they win a championship, this will be their seventh NBA championship, and this in their first championship since the Michael Jordan era, and it would do so much wonders for the franchise. It would boost the legacy of the players on this team, such as DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. It would make DeMar DeRozan, who is known as a playoff choker, considered a better player all time, and would erase that label all time as like him being a playoff choker. Moving on to the Miami Heat, if they win a championship, this will be their fourth championship in franchise history, and this will make it the second time that they made the NBA Finals in franchise hit as a play-in team. And this will do so much wonders to that franchise, especially if Jimmy Butler wins Finals MVP. This will boost his legacy all time to maybe even being top 20 all time. Considering how the Miami Heat, they tend to coast in the regular season, but they up their notch and up their game in the playoffs. As for the Philadelphia 76ers, if they win a championship, this will be their first championship since 1983, and this will be their fourth championship ever. And this will move them past the conference finals, which they were not even able to crack since the year 2001. That was the last time they ever made the conference finals, and that was the last time they even made the finals to begin with. So if they can make it to the championship and win a championship, this will boost Joel Embiid's legacy all time, and this will improve the Philadelphia 76ers reputation all time. So going on to the Pacers, if they somehow win a championship, this will make them and this will be their first championship in franchise history, and assuming Tyrese Halliburton wins Finals MVP, this will boost his legacy all time at such a young age, especially with him being 24 years old and being 4 years into the NBA. This will do so much wonders to his legacy and the Indiana Pacers, seeing that they have won a championship as a very young team. If the Orlando Magic win the NBA championship, this will be their first championship in franchise history. And assuming Paolo Banchero wins the Finals MVP, he'll be one of the youngest Finals MVPs of all time, and this will boost his legacy and the team's legacy all time for sure. If the Cleveland Cavaliers win the championship, this will be their first championship in 8 years, and this will be their second championship overall. And this will also make and assuming Donovan Mitchell wins Finals MVP, this will also boost his legacy and the team's legacy as well too. And this will show that the Cavaliers were able to rebuild properly after the LeBron James era and were able to win a championship. If the Milwaukee Bucks win another championship, this will be the Milwaukee Bucks' third franchise championship. And assuming Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the Finals MVP, this will boost him even to the top 15 conversations and might inch him closer to top 10 conversations possibly. This will also be Damian Lillard's first championship, which he coveted which will also make the trade for him more justified and will hence make a huge legacy boost on on their careers, and this will also help get rid of Doc Rivers as a playoff coach choker, who's known for not making the proper leads, proper adjustments in the playoffs, and has been considered an overrated coach by most fans. If the New York Knicks win a championship, this will be their first championship in over 50 years, and this will be their third ever NBA championship. If Jalen Brunson were to win the Finals MVP, this would boost his legacy all time, and this would help out the New York Knicks legacy in terms of them being starting off having a rough 2010s to like now turning it around, making the smart trades that were not superstars, but were like good role players that helped them boost their legacy, help them boost their team, and that would turn that team into a very strong team and make them a championship team. So they would be considered like one of the more smarter moves that they have made into making them a championship team. I think they're on the right track for that though. If the Boston Celtics win the championship, this will be their first championship since 2008, and this will be their 18th ever NBA championship. This will boost the legacy of the team, and if Jason Tatum wins Finals MVP, he will be considered as the all-time great and might be moved into the top 20, top 40, top 30 conversation of all time, and might be considered one of the greatest Celtics players of all time. So now that we have finished the East, let's move over to the West. If the Golden State Warriors win the championship, this will be their eighth championship in their franchise history. And if Steph Curry wins the Finals MVP, he will move into the top 5 conversations of all time, possibly, considering his history and his legacy. This will alleviate the Warriors' struggles, and like their struggles from this season will be considered something that like where they would be viewed as though they were that these struggles were at the end of the day meant for a championship, but their struggles would probably be not remembered as much as would have resulted in them possibly winning a championship. And Chris Paul would win a championship too, even though he's at the tail end of his career. If the Sacramento Kings win the championship, this will be their second championship ever. And if De'Aaron Fox wins the Finals MVP, this will boost his legacy, and this will help out Domantas Sabonis, his legacy, and the Sacramento Kings legacy of the team all time, because they started off as a team that lost the playoffs last year in 7 games, and they were able to do better than the following season with them winning a championship. Even though yes, this season they have been struggling a bit, if they were to win a championship, it would make a huge legacy boost for that team. If the Los Angeles Lakers win a championship, this will be the Los Angeles Lakers' 18th championship, and this will boost LeBron James' legacy. And he still might not be the GOAT, but he'll still probably be closer to. There might be even more conversation of if LeBron James or Michael Jordan is the GOAT, if assuming he wins his 5th Finals MVP, and this will place all the inconsistencies that the Los Angeles Lakers had throughout the season like to rest, seeing that they were able to win a championship in spite of the fact that they had some inconsistencies and had some rough patches here and there. If the New Orleans Pelicans win a championship, this will be their first ever NBA championship ever. This will be something huge for them because they have not even made the conference finals in their franchise history yet. And if they make it that far, if they make it to a championship and they win the championship, this will be an all-time boost for them because this would show that they were able to win a championship. And if Zion Williamson wins a championship, this will like increase his status in the NBA, and it will increase his reputation possibly. And it will do a lot of wonders to the team. If the Dallas Mavericks win a championship, this will be their second NBA championship ever. And if Luka Doncic wins the Finals MVP, this will cement his legacy all time, and he will possibly start moving much higher in the NBA all-time list. And this will certainly help out the Dallas Mavericks too. And Kyrie Irving will also benefit from another championship too, because this season, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks have been doing very well, and they have been doing so well that like they are possible. I would not be surprised if they could somehow make it to the finals if they beat the Nuggets, because they're the second best team in the West that I feel like can make the finals. The first being the Denver Nuggets. If the Los Angeles Clippers win a championship, this will do so much wonders to that team, considering they have not won a championship yet. And if Kawhi Leonard wins the Finals MVP, he'll be probably placed in the top 20 all-time conversations. And what will happen is Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook will have finally have a championship they've been so long been wanting. And so this will do so much wonders to the team as well as the players on the team, which with there being four future Hall of Famers on the team. If the if the Phoenix Suns win a championship, this will do so much wonders to the team, considering that this will be their first championship ever, and they traded a lot for to get Kevin Durant and decent amount for Bradley Beal, and those trades would be justified and worth it. And if Kevin Durant wins Finals MVP, that'll be his third Finals MVP, and he could possibly get placed in the all-time top 10 conversations. And this will give Devin Booker a championship as well too, and erase the playoff woes that they had for the past few years, especially in 2021 when they could not win the championship. If the Minnesota Timberwolves win a championship, this will be their first ever NBA championship, and this will boost up the legacies of Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, and even Karl-Anthony Towns. This will rewrite the narrative that Karl-Anthony Towns was a playoff choker. This will also get rid of the narrative that Rudy Gobert is not good in the playoffs, but he is very good in the playoffs. It was just that what happened was the past few seasons when he was on the Utah Jazz, his team was not he did not have a good team that was good for defending, and he was forced to defend the perimeter, which was not his strong suit. And like there were not good that many good perimeter defenders on that team. This will erase that narrative off for sure, and this will mean a lot for the franchise, considering that they traded a lot for Rudy Gobert, and this will justify them winning, like trading Rudy Gobert, and showing that that was a smart move. If the Denver Nuggets win the championship, this will be their second championship in their franchise history, with the last year being their first ever NBA championship. And if Nikola Jokic wins Finals MVP, this will be his second Finals MVP, and this will boost his all-time legacy to possibly being on the top 15, near the top 10 champion of all time, not top 10 players of all time, and he could possibly surpass David Robinson or Moses Malone in the champion in is the centers list, and this will increase his legacy for sure, and this will make that the Denver Nuggets were repeats and were back-to-back NBA champions, which I would not be surprised if this happens, considering that this team is honestly like that good, and they're honestly the best team to come out of the West. If the Oklahoma City Thunder wins the finals MVP, wins the NBA championship, this will be their second NBA championship, with their first championship being in 1979 as the Seattle SuperSonics. And this will be their first championship as the Oklahoma City Thunder. And if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins the Finals MVP, this will boost his legacy all time. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are the youngest first seed ever in NBA history. And this will boost their legacy all time, considering it'll give a championship to Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. It will do a lot to that team, and it would honestly be a huge legacy boost for that team. And considering the fact that they traded Paul George for a lot of stuff, including Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a lot of picks, this will make that this is like the start of a dynasty. This will indicate this is like a start of a dynasty for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and like this championship is like the beginning of stuff to come. So this will do a lot for the team. Overall, this video, while this might not be while like some of these teams might not realistically win a championship, the reason I said all these teams was like what a championship would do to these teams is that this way I could see what a championship can possibly do to teams, and like what can happen if a championship were to happen to where if any of these teams were to win a championship, because a championship really boosts a team's legacy for sure, and the players for sure, whoever were previously called playoff chokers, it will erase those narratives. We've seen what it has done in the past. So overall, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe on this video, and have yourself a nice day. I'm out. Bye.